Hi, hello, how are you? My name is Sarah from Sarah's Reading Nook, and today we are going over my TBR for the whole year. Yeah. If you're new here, my name is Sarah, and me and my cat Olivia, we make videos and we post them every week, every Wednesday, and every Sunday. And we are currently doing Bookish Planuary right now. Today's video will have a blog post associated with that, which I will link, which is at our website, sarasreadingnook.com. And I will also post all of the information about Bookish Planuary, which is going on from January the 3rd to the 23rd of the month, and what videos we're going to be posting, as well as a schedule. But please know that I will try to adhere to the schedule, but there may be some days that I don't post, but I will try to post on those days. The videos will come out, we're gonna try. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing some of the books that I plan to read in 2021. Now, TBRs are very daunting for me. Number one, I find them difficult to adhere to, but a very big goal of the year for me, which I will go over in my bookish goals, is that I really want to be intentional with my reading. So I have selected a whole bunch of books. My overall goal is to read 52 books a year. That's roughly one book a week. And I thought, what better way to actually get to that goal if I have a framework for me? A databank of books that I actually want to read instead of like books that I have on my TBR from like 7 years ago that I might not even be interested anymore. So how this is going to go is that in the list that I'm going to be discussing with you, I have two main criteria. And that is books that are already on my TBR that I want to prioritize for this year, and also my most anticipated reads for 2021. Two categories that I am not able to discuss with you right now are book award nominees and winners that I want to read. So I cannot discuss that with you now because I don't have a short list yet for the 2021 Canada Reads list. And I do want to read all of those books. The short list should be coming out January the 14th. And I also want to be reading the National Book Awards, either of 2020 or 2021. It depends what I have to do a little bit more research into that, but videos will be coming out separately for Canada Reads and the National Book Awards. So for the purpose of the video, let's just go in and let us discuss the books that I am prioritizing on my pre-existing TBR, and that is based off of my TBR on Storygraph. So what I did, I have like 750 something books on my TBR, so it's quite a lot. And I just went ahead and I prioritized it in accordance with my bookish goals, which I will go over later in Planuary. And I definitely suggest doing that, if you want to be sort of mindful of the books that you're reading. And what I like about Storygraph is that, you have these books on Storygraph and then you can select it by mood. So even if you are a mood reader, you can look at your pre-existing TBR and say, okay, I want something lighthearted this month. You can go through and there will be a list of books that have lighthearted components to them, and you can kind of go from there. So what I did was I went through that TBR, I made a tag list for 2020 TBR, and prioritized the books that I wanted to read. On that list, there are 41 books, and I have 52 books that I want to read this year. Now, the reason why I decided to do a TBR is because the goals that I have this year are very important to me. And I want to read from a variety of voices, experiences, and also some genres that are going out of my comfort zone, like romance. I never read romance, but I have some romance on my TBR. Typically, I would never do something like this because I'm not good at sticking to TBRs. But this is important for me. And what you can do on Storygraph is make a reading challenge. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. Usually I like things when they are a reading challenge. So if I can make a reading challenge that is reading all of the Canada Reads shortlist nominees, my hope is that I will want to rise up to that challenge and read all the books. So Anyway, I have been talking too much. Yada yada. Let's go into what the books I have prioritized on my TBR list are. So I'm only going to say like a small blurb because there are so many books. I'll give you a little bit of what the plot or the subject matter is, the mood of the book. If I can remember where I heard about this book, I will list that also, and we'll just kind of go from there. So the first book I have is called Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. So I've seen this book quite a lot on Bookstagram, on various TBR lists or favorite book lists, which is great. It is a YA contemporary fiction, 384 pages, published in 2020. It states here that Corey Fields was a legendary R&B artist, and Corey Fields spotted Enchanted at an audition. This sort of fosters her ambitions of becoming a professional singer, but it states her dream soon becomes a nightmare because behind Corey's stardom, he is highly problematic, dangerous, and seeks to control her every mood. And one day, Enchanted, she wakes up with blood on her hands and discovers that Corey is dead. The question is, who killed Corey Fields? And all signs point to Enchanted. So this is sounding similar to the R. Kelly scandal, which I would definitely recommend the Netflix documentary to have more of a background on that. This sounds like a really good book. So I have just taken a look at the content warnings. There are several. Many have to deal with emotional and sexual assault. But this sounds like a very important book to read. The moods are dark, tense, emotional, challenging, sad, mysterious. So basically, I think the perfect book that I want to read this year. And on Storygraph, the rating is 4.5 stars. So the next book is Plain Bad Heroines by Emily M. Danforth. So this book was published in 2020. It's a fiction, historical, horror, LGBTQIA+ book that looks adventurous, dark, mysterious, medium-paced. And this is how it's described. A highly imaginative and original horror comedy centered around a cursed New England boarding school for girls. A wickedly whimsical celebration of the art of storytelling, sapphic love, and the rebellious female spirit. Definitely looking forward to this one. And this may be a really good one for like October and like spooky season. Okay, so the next book is called You Should See Me in a Crown by Leigh Johnson. Now this is a contemporary fiction, LGBTQIA+ young adult that is emotional, funny, lighthearted, and medium-paced. 336 pages and published in 2020. So this book I have seen on so many TBR lists, so many wrap-ups, and the general consensus is that this book is quite good. So it's about Liz, and Liz has plans on running for, well, her school scholarship. So despite her fear of the spotlight, she still pursues it and is willing to do whatever it takes, as she would like to go to Pennington College to play in their world-famous orchestra and also to attend medical education. And along the way, she finds Mac, the new girl in school who is smart, funny, and just as much an outsider as Liz. But Mac is also in competition for Queen. However, Liz falls for her. So it sounds really cute, and I am definitely looking forward to it. It might be something good to read next month. Okay, so the next book that I have is Anna Karenina. Now, okay, so I've been trying to read this book for a very long time. I make very little progress. I've made more than this because I've been reading using my phone as well. But, you know, I don't really know what to say. It is interesting. It's Tolstoy. You know, I've talked about this book before. It's just, we're gonna keep going through it. So, Anna Karenina, maybe this will be the year. Okay, the next book I have is Giovanni's Room. So Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. So I had mentioned this before in the books that I got for Christmas, that series, that video. It was written in 1956, and supposedly it's supposed to be an exceptional work. LGBT book by a Black author. I've heard that it is devastating. I've heard that it offers a complex array of emotions while reading it. Exceptional beauty, hypnotic, intimate, harrowing. So I am very much looking forward to this one. As I've mentioned it before, I will include it in my blog, and also I will post the link for my Christmas haul. The next is a manga, and it is Fangirl Volume 1, the manga. It is a non-fiction comic, a graphic novel / manga for young adults, and it is 216 pages. And it is described as a deliciously warm-hearted nerd power ballad destined for greatness. Definitely looking forward to reading that one. Next we have Jane Eyre, I hope I'm saying that right, by Charlotte Bronte. So my friend Kristen from Perks of a Bookflower absolutely loves this book. She talks about it all the time. I know nothing about this book, except it is on the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge list, so I need to read it. So a couple of descriptors. It is described as a fiction, emotional, mysterious, reflective, slow-paced, with an average rating of 4.41 on Storygraph. So it's described here as a story of a young girl and her passage into adulthood. I'm going to leave it at that. It is 450, 600 something pages, depending on the edition that you have, I suppose. Big book. See how it goes. If you have read Jane Eyre, please let me know what time of the year I should read it. That would be very helpful. Okay, so next we have Long Way Down, Jason Reynolds. I know that Ashley from Bookish Realm, she has such good reading taste, and she is just like this pool of information of like books, and she is a librarian, and she always posts like such good book recommendations, and I love to sort of watch her videos. Many books that I've mentioned she has probably discussed at some point. So Long Way Down is a fiction. So it's described as contemporary poetry, young adult, challenging, emotional, and fast-paced. 306 pages, published in 2017. So this book is described as taking place in 60 potent seconds, the time it takes a kid to decide whether or not he is going to take the life of the person who murdered his brother. Oh my gosh, I need to read this like soon. That sounds amazing. I mean, yeah, I'm so looking forward to this now. This is very highly going to be prioritized. I didn't realize that it takes place in like 60 seconds. I'm reading this one soon. I love books that are like written in a certain timeline. Whew. Okay, next is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo. And yeah, I've seen this mentioned in so many different places on Bookstagram, Booktube. Published in 2019, it is a fiction, contemporary, LGBTQIA literary short story book that is emotional, hopeful, reflective, and medium-paced. So this one follows the lives and struggles of 12 very different characters, mostly women, Black and British. They tell the stories of their families, their friends, and lovers across the country and throughout the years. A novel of our time's celebratory, ever dynamic, and utterly irresistible. This sounds great. Looking forward to this one. And it has like a 4.54 star rating on the Storygraph. So yeah, looking forward to that. Next book I have to mention is A Promised Land by Barack Obama. I am slowly but surely getting through it. I am at 64% right now. And I love this book so far. It has images, it has amazing writing, it is hopeful, inspiring, uplifting, honest. So I cannot wait to tell you my full idea, appreciation, just love for this book during a wrap-up. And I have a prediction that this one is going to be very, very highly rated. And look at the back. Love it. Okay, next book is, it's just like a short book. It's the I Have a Dream speech by Martin Luther King, which I want to read soon. I didn't realize it before, but I believe Martin Luther King Jr. Day is this month, and it's coming up soon. So I want to just read that reflectively on the day of. Okay, so next book is The Heart of a Woman by Maya Angelou. I have never read Maya Angelou, and I really want to read her. She has many, many, many works, and this is just one that I've always wanted to read. So The Heart of a Woman is nonfiction, an autobiography, biography/memoir, challenging, emotional, reflective, slow-paced. So 288 pages, first published in 1981. So it goes over her life, and this is the first of 3 volumes of her autobiography. And I had just talked about Martin Luther King, so it says that her compassion and commitment led her to respond to the fiery times by becoming the Northern coordinator of Martin Luther King's history-making quest. A tempestuous, earthy woman, she promises her heart to one man only to have it stolen virtually on her wedding day. So in terms of the mood, it is described as informative, inspiring, and challenging. And I mean, it's Maya Angelou, so it has a 4.14 star rating. Very much looking forward to that. Next is a book called We Too Sing America by Deepa Iyer. South Asian, Arab, Muslim, and Sikh immigrants shape our multiracial future. So this book is a nonfiction, goes over politics and race, and is described as challenging, informative. So 256 pages, first published in 2015. I'll just read this very short blurb. Many of us can recall the targeting of South Asian, Arab, Muslim, and Sikh people in the wake of 9/11. We may be less aware, however, of the ongoing racism directed against these groups in the past decade and a half. So again, this was published in 2015. Very much looking forward to this and the various perspectives. Next is Love and Resistance, Out of the Closet into the Stonewall Era, with an introduction by Roxane Gay. It is nonfiction, art, gender, historical, LGBTQIA+. And so it just showcases different images of LGBTQIA, civil rights, feminist, and anti-war movements. So it's supposed to be a very powerful collection, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so the next book I have is Her Body and Other Parties. Again, I won't talk too much about it. It is a National Book Award finalist. It is written by Carmen Maria Machado, and it is supposed to be showcasing the lives of women. Very excited to read it. I've heard nothing but good things. The next book we have is Do Not Say Nothing, and it is a Scotiabank Giller Prize winner. For those of you who don't know, Scotiabank is one of the major banks in Canada, and it has won the Canada Council for the Arts Governor General's Literary Award. So in here it is described as taking us into 2 talented families of musicians in China and the lives of 2 entwined generations, those who weathered Mao's Cultural Revolution and their children who became the 1989 Tiananmen Square protesters during one of the most important political movements of the past century. Looking forward to reading this one. I've been meaning to read it for quite a long time, so 2021 should be the year. The next is All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. Been wanting to read this for a very long time. It is a memoir manifesto by the author and is nonfiction LGBTQIA+ memoir, which is described as being challenging, emotional, reflective, and medium-paced. It is 320 pages and was first published in 2020. Very much looking forward to this one. The next is Heartberries, which is a nonfiction memoir, which is challenging, emotional, reflective, slow-paced. So Heartberries is a powerful poetic memoir, and it is within the Seabird Island Reservation in the Pacific Northwest. I started reading this last year, and I'm going to continue reading it. It's been taking me a little bit of time since it is a library book, but I'm very much enjoying this one. And it has a 4.01 stars on the story graph. And of course this one and Do Not Say Nothing, which is this one. They are both written by Canadian authors, and Heartberries is written by an Indigenous author. So the next book is Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, which has a beautiful cover. Now this one is a fiction, fantasy, historical book, which is adventurous, emotional, and medium-paced, 338 pages, first published in 2019. So it is described as the Mayan god of death sends a young woman on a harrowing, life-changing story in this dark, one-of-a-kind, fairy tale-inspired by Mexican folklore. Sounds incredible. So the author has also written Mexican Gothic, which you can see behind me. And what I want to do is continue reading her works. It looks so great. I am looking forward to it. I may try and get that as a top shelf book club pick because I love her so much and I want everyone else to love her, but we have already read her, so we'll see. Okay, so the next book is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon, and I have wanted to read this book for so long. It just sounds like the cutest book. So it is a fiction, contemporary romance, young adult book, emotional, medium paced, mixing it up from slow to medium, and it is 306 pages, first published in 2015. So basically since 2015, I've wanted to read this book. So the main character, she has a rare disease. She describes it as a form of severe combined immunodeficiency. So basically she is allergic to the entire world. And she said that she is certainly going to fall in love with Ollie, and it's almost certainly going to be a disaster. I've wanted to read this for so long, so cannot wait to read this. Maybe next month in February. I do not read very much romance, clearly, and this looks like a perfect book for next month. The next book is Wonder by Christina C. Jones. The person who's put this author on my radar is Nana from Lit Nana. So the reason why she highlighted this author, she had a YouTube video, which I will link, and she was just talking about reading different romance, and the author that she was describing, it just sounded like I would really like her books. So Wonder, so again, I'm trying to read more romance. Wonder is by Christina C. Jones, and it is a fiction, romance, adventurous, lighthearted, medium-paced book that is 283 pages and was first published in 2019. And I'm just going to read the blurb. It all came down to me, the one who followed the rules, never went looking for trouble. I kept to myself. I just wanted to take care of my family, to not constantly look over my shoulder, worried about the things that went bump in the night. I just wanted to survive, but that wasn't meant to be. As luck or fate or something would have it, the trouble found me. I followed a rabbit hole through the wreckage of a half-ruined world to get back to what was mine, and wound up at the end of it, in Wonderland. But there's nothing magical about it. While Wonder does feature a central love story, it is not a contemporary romance novel. Interesting. So it's supposed to be adventurous, dark, and emotional, and medium-paced. 4.14 stars. Sounds very, very good. Anything that has Wonder or Wonderland or anything referenced, I like, so far. Except for the actual Alice in Wonderland. Don't even get me started. Okay, so the next book is Death by Dumpling by Vivian Chen. And this is supposed to be a cozy mystery series. And again, I heard this from Ashley from Bookish Realm. 328 pages, first published in 2018. Welcome to the Holy Noodle House, where the Chinese food is to die for. Leaving it there, want to read this, looking forward to it. Mysterious, lighthearted, and funny. I need that kind of book sometime soon. And so finally we have Pet, which is a fictional fantasy LGBTQIA plus magical realism young adult book that is described as emotional, hopeful, reflective, and fast-paced. 208 pages, first published in 2019. So Pet is here to hunt a monster. Are you brave enough to look? Looks very intriguing, and I am looking forward to this one. So difficult questions are asked about what choices a young person can make when the adults around them are in denial. So those are all the books that I'm prioritizing on my reading list, my to-be-read list. The remaining books that I am going to be reading are all of the 2021 most anticipated releases, which I have a video for, and I will link you to that. And also, I would like to read all of the Top Shelf Society book club picks, which there will be 12, and the National Book Award Choice 2021 winners or nominees, would love that, as well as the Canada Reads 2021 shortlist. So let me know if you have a 2021 TBR, what books you're prioritizing, are any of the books on my list books that you are going to read as well? let me know below. And yeah, I have run out of time. So that is everything for today. Bye.